Ronda Rousey will probably return to the octagon at some point. She'll be met with all kinds of hype and anticipation, but she'll never be the same again. It's now been more than 3 weeks since Holly Holm shocked the world and defeated Rousey by second round KO in Australia at UFC 193. Even with so much time having passed, we've still seen little of Rousey in the aftermath of her defeat. For those of you who aren't hardcore MMA fans or who haven't actually seen the fight in its entirety, this was not a one-shot lucky strike to the head that anyone in combat sports could get caught with. This was a systematic beatdown that began from the opening moments of the first round. I knew this fight would be tough for Rousey, though I didn't out and out call the upset. I advised folks in my DraftKings column to pick home. I knew her athleticism, length, and striking ability would at least allow her to be a productive loser and possibly the landslide winner that she turned out to be. You don't believe me? The article link is in the description and it's dated. But I digress. The major point I'm making here is that Rousey was beaten in such a way that makes a fighter doubt themselves moving forward. Getting blown out in boxing or MMA is unlike any other lopsided loss in sports. Losing by 50 points in basketball or 4 touchdowns in football doesn't hurt you physically. You play the next day or the following weekend and it's a new game. It doesn't work that way in combat sports. You get blown out, you normally get hurt. Bad. And that was the case for Rousey, who was knocked unconscious and had her lip split in two. People want to say she'll be back, she's a tough girl. She may be, but she's never had to deal with this type of adversity as an athlete. She's never been outclassed. She was like the bully in the schoolyard who would normally smack kids, take their lunch money, and go buy extra French toast sticks with her spoils. Only this time, someone stood up to her and Ronda got her butt kicked in front of the whole schoolyard. Even after she said she would rip home the shreds like she had every other kid. Do you realize how hard that has to be to accept for someone who has grown as famous and has taken on as much pressure as Rousey has? I myself could only imagine. There has to be some serious doubts in her head whether she can ever dominate again. Was the code cracked, and will others be able to duplicate it? Probably not, because Holm is a special athlete, but when you're Rousey, second best is the same as last place. Never before in the history of combat sports have we ever seen a truly elite fighter lose so decisively in their prime. The key to that statement is in their prime. Sure, Muhammad Ali lost fights. Joe Frazier, Ken Norton, nor Leon Spinks beat him like Holm beat Rousey. Some would argue those losses weren't even in Ali's prime. Sugar Ray Robinson was never embarrassed like that in his prime. Mike Tyson was more competitive with Buster Douglas. Heck, he knocked him down in the 8th round. Even Sugar Ray Leonard's loss in his initial bout with Roberto Duran wasn't that lopsided. Rousey was crushed from beginning to end. You're crazy if you don't think she's thinking about that. We don't know if she had doubts even before this loss. If she didn't, they're front and center right now. Rousey also has so many other avenues, so many other easier ways to make a living. A good one at that. The WWE would probably have preferred to have her as Big Bad Ronda, but Vince and company can put a nice spin on things that'll make her not only the top diva in the promotion, she might even still be able to become the biggest draw overall. And then there's the movie business. She's set to reprise Patrick Swayze's role in Roadhouse. These are all options with a much easier path than jumping back in the octagon for UFC 200 to face Holm again. What if I lose again? What if I get knocked out again? There's no way Ronda can't be asking herself those questions. Because of that, she'll never be the same fighter.